Hi, I'm Libby, and this is my third TED Talk, my strengths in under 6 minutes. Um, so I have been applying to college for the last couple of months, and I feel like writing a lot of the essays, I really had to focus on my strengths and decide what my strengths were. And the first thing that always popped into my mind was stage managing, because it's something that I do a lot. I manage probably 3 or 4 shows a year, or at least work on crew for 3 or 4 shows a year. And I feel like I'm really in my element there. I feel like it's one thing that I do well. I can handle the chaos. I can focus under all of that stress and just deal with problems as they come. And so when I took the StrengthsFinder test, it was surprising that the top two strengths really didn't have anything to do with that. I had input, which I saw as more of a sort of, I don't want to use the word lonely strength, but that it's a lot of stuff that I do by myself with taking in ideas and working with them and sharing them with others. But really, a lot of it talked about being perfectly comfortable by yourself with books, which is me. It's very true. And my second one was intellection, which discussed about just discussing ideas, I guess, sort of. So they sort of went together. I saw them as going together, and I saw a lot of myself in them, but they didn't really go with stage managing, which is the thing that pops into my mind. But my last three strengths did, and those were developer, empathy, and responsibility. And I thought that those really did follow stage managing. Developer, because I can see what people are good at, and I can make sure that they're assigned in the right job so that I know that they can get done. Empathy, because there's a lot of stress in live theater. Lots of people get their feelings hurt or they're freaking out, and I think that I'm really good at seeing that and calming them down and making sure that everybody's comfortable in doing what they need to do and they're okay. And responsibility, because if I say that I'm going to do it, I get it done, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with stage managing. I managed Striking 12 in the fall, and Mr. Williams told me that because I was stage manager, everything was automatically my fault, and that I had to take responsibility for anything that went wrong, which is true. I was calling cues for that show, which is the first time that I've personally called cues, which means that if I get the cue wrong, everyone that's following my cues gets it wrong. And it's automatically my fault. I have to make sure that everything is where it needs to be, and I think that I did that pretty well. And when I did mess up, and yes, there were a few mistakes, I'm not too proud to admit that, I took responsibility for them and I fixed them. So I think the strengths really do show that. And I find it interesting that the thing that pops into my mind is not actually the top two things that the StrengthsFinder test told me were my top strengths. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this information and how to help others who have the same strengths as me to use them. But for me, it's mostly been about learning about myself and not necessarily changing the way that I do things, but changing the way that I approach things. And I come up with an idea and I've been sharing it with people, and automatically it makes more sense to me that this is what I do and that I shouldn't stifle that idea sharing. For I guess an example, a couple weeks ago I read something online about a theory of why we will never meet aliens in our universe, and Porter's last TED Talk actually reminded me about it. About the theory, it follows the cyclical theory of the universe, where the universe started as a super small, dense mass and exploded and is expanding and expanding, and eventually it'll stop expanding and move back into that dense mass again and just happen again and again. And the theory was that time is so vast that a world like ours is just the tiniest little blip on that timeline, and the likelihood of two of those little blips coinciding at the same time is so vastly unlikely that we'll probably never meet intelligent life, or maybe even life at all. And I told that theory to everyone that would listen to me, and I thought about it, and I sort of incorporated it into my writing. And that was when I read the thing about input. That's really what struck me, was that I take in an idea and it sort of consumes my whole life for a few days until I find another idea like that consumes my whole life. And it's like that, I feel like that with my writing, because I write creatively, I write short stories, I write poems, and get an idea, and that idea just sort of takes hold of me, and I just need to find a way to express that idea, or write about it, or learn something more about it. And actually, I wrote about that for my latest college essay for Columbia College Chicago. Wanted to know about my writing process. And I didn't really know about my writing process. I'd just sort of written before, but as I went back and I thought about it, I thought about that input strength, and it really helps me to express that. So I've been approaching my life, my everyday life, differently now, and the strengths have almost given me an acceptance, like, this is what I do, it's okay, I don't need to hide it anymore, I don't need to stifle it, I guess. And the alone part of me, the part of me that just hangs out in my room with my books, is great, and my stage manager is second, and that's 6 minutes. Bye.